In your vote tonight, Toledo's mayor is asking people to approve an increase in the city income tax. She says most of that money will go to fix roads. So 13 ABC's Bill Hormann spent the day getting your opinion on a tax hike that could raise $18 million a year for road repair. Bill?
Diane, it takes money to fix city roads. In March, a 0.25% hike in the income tax is on the ballot. Now, whether you vote or not, the outcome will affect you, so it's important to hear what other people have to say, which is why we want to know what you think about this tax hike plan. We went to South Toledo, East Toledo, and North Toledo, and people were willing to talk about taxes and streets. What do you think of city streets in general?
Some parts are absolutely horrible.
Horrible and in need of repair. Are you willing to pay a little bit extra to get it, though?
I think if it would get the job done, I might be inclined to.
Can you afford the extra $100 a year it might cost you, though? An extra $100 a year for fixing roads?
If I hit a pothole and the city doesn't cover it, it's going to cost me more than $100.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Why not? The roads are a mess in this city. If they increase this income tax, that's $100 less you can spend for groceries.
My husband would definitely enjoy that.
It's spending less on food?
Spending less on food and fix the roads because we've had a lot of flat tires.
I'd probably vote against it.
The city needs to attract business. If you have roads that are a mess, though, you're not going to attract business.
That's true. I mean, and then people, I've blown tires before driving down the street, hitting potholes.
Some told us the city doesn't spend money wisely. Problem is, what do you cut back on, though?
Maybe some of the extra spending for the people that are in charge.
Oh, so it's going to salaries, you think?
I think so.
They want to use this money to fix the roads.
Well, I don't know if the roads are all going to be fixed.
But a tax hike could hurt Rosemarie. So you're going to vote no?
I'll probably vote no.
Now, what should you care what other people think? Well, you should care because they vote, and how they vote will affect your tax bill one way or the other. So this year we're going to follow the issues, but we're also going to gauge public opinion because we want to know what you think.
13 ABC's Bill Hormann getting some answers on why a road built just a couple of years ago falling apart already.
There are parts of Delaware Street where you can't drive despite thousands and thousands of dollars in road work.
But look at that. This is supposed to be a new street.
Damon McCullough is a taxpayer who feels abused.
This has been like this for a couple months now.
A homeowner who feels his street is being ignored. 2 years ago, Delaware near Collingwood was rebuilt.
My thing is, this is a new street. Tax dollars are not being used properly.
Holes are popping up, like these punctures in the pavement near a storm sewer that seem to be bottomless. Oh my goodness.
Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
That must be
15 to 20. Exactly.
There's also a gaping hole next to a sewer cap.
Be safe when you come down Delaware, because it's deadly.
There's a broken water pipe leaking under Delaware and ground that is giving way in one woman's yard. Damon's complained about it.
I've called sewer, called the city, called the road.
But nothing until today when we called. And within 45 minutes, 2 city officials were looking into the problem, literally shining a light on what happened.
It can happen just about anywhere over our aging infrastructure that we have.
Dave Pratt with the Sewer and Drains Department says broken underground pipes are letting rainwater wash out dirt underneath the road, and it's happening all over town.
For probably many millions of dollars more, we could go back and replace all the water lines and all the sewer lines when the roads are being replaced.
But for now, crews have blocked off this hole until they can fix this problem, whenever that may be. They say 2 weeks perhaps.
Well, we'll see in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll be back there. So the city's aging sewer system costing taxpayers even more money because roads we've already fixed still need repair. The rain will keep coming. The old sewer pipes, they're going to continue to break down. And the new roads like Delaware, well, they'll need constant attention.
This is happening on the 3100 block of Houghton, and 13 ABC's Bill Hormann is live from the scene. Bill, what are you seeing?
Well, we sort of had an interesting problem here. About an hour ago, a tree cutting service came up the 3100 block of Houghton. That truck drove up this road and landed in that hole. Its front right wheel up to the axle in what is about a 3-foot by 5-foot deep hole. That hole used to be just about 8 inches. But over the last month or so, that hole has grown, and it's grown in front of the driveway of Len Baker. Len, you told the entire block via email that there was this growing hole in front of your house.
That's correct, yeah.
This has become a problem here.
Yes, it's a problem. It was started off as a small hole, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger. They just came out and put the traffic cones around it, but there was no work done, so we were a little disappointed that things haven't happened. And unfortunately, a truck got stuck in there today.
So what happened? He got too close to the hole? Was that it?
He was away from the pylons, but he was in that same vicinity. And while they were parked there, the road just collapsed underneath of him.
And he lost his front right wheel for a while, but Len Baker, thank you very much. But for a while there, it just sat. And then about 10 minutes ago, they simply used a small little mini backhoe and pulled it out, popped right out, no problem. Unfortunately, up and down this street, this has happened before. And we'll have more on that coming up in later editions of 13 ABC Action News.
Tonight, 13 ABC's Bill Hormann shows us 2 roads that need work but may not get it.
Yeah, we're going to show you 2 roads that are really rough. Maybe yours is worse, but these roads haven't been fixed in years. It may take much longer before they get repaired.
I've lived here for 50 years, and this has only been repaired once.
One time?
Only one time.
Juanita Stevens loves her neighborhood, but her street, Weirwood, is a mess. It's even affecting her driveway. You want to dig up your driveway and fix this to make your home look nice.
Absolutely.
And the city won't let you do it.
That's right. Not until the street is done.
But other than patching, nothing gets done. Juanita talks with city leaders. They're on her side. But the $150,000 needed to fix this short street is a lot of money.
I think these people have paid their dues, and we really need to address their problem and fix this street.
This is Blackstone in North Toledo. Most of the streets in this neighborhood have no curbs and a lot of potholes.
I've regularly had to pick my bike up and carry it 2 blocks before I can put it down and ride in the winter.
But one block of Blackstone has been fixed. It has curbs and resurfaced pavement, but not this part. They could get the curbs here, they could get the fresh pavement here, but they'd have to petition council. Then they would be assessed. They'd have to pay for those improvements. The problem is, most of the people who live here are renters. And the landlords don't want to pay for a new road. So while this road probably won't get fixed because landlords don't want it, this road may not get fixed even though homeowners are begging for it.
And what we is trying to do everything we can possibly do to make our neighborhoods better.
As we say, Blackstone residents could pay for their improvements. Weirwood residents continue to complain. They're hoping to get their street on the list. Right now, that's about the best you can do.
Well, Toledo's residential streets are a mess. City hoping to start working on neighborhood streets in about a month. But the question is, which streets? 13 ABC's Bill Hormann says, we don't know yet. He joins us live with a story. Bill?
No matter where you go in town, you're going to find pockmarked streets just like this one. That's why the mayor wants city council members to create a list of streets in their districts that need work. Not all of them are going to get patched, but some's better than none. A couple of weeks ago, no residential streets were going to be patched. Streets that drivers know are terrible.
Raggedy, a lot of holes. You can mess your tires up.
But no money was in the budget to patch the pitted pavement until Councilman Tom Winooski scratched and clawed to find $700,000.
No one else had offered any amendments.
Imagine going a whole year without patching roads.
Residents, whether they're paying taxes or not, rely on the streets to be maintained or fixed.
So I'm driving, and the dealership told me in the manual that I couldn't go down bumps on streets. I said, well, I might as well move out of Toledo.
I get calls constantly about potholes.
Councilwoman Yvonne Harper represents District 4. These are streets in her district. She says dozens need work.
Mainly because we have downtown, and all the streets come towards downtown.
Now that there's some money to patch roads, district reps like Harper are creating lists. City engineers will go over those lists and see which roads can be patched and then decide.
And as you can imagine, there's more demand than the funding that we have. So there are people that are going to be happy and people that are not going to be happy.
Only about 10 road miles will get patched across the city this year. But remember, 2 weeks ago, there was no money to do any roads. Councilman Tom Winooski says there's another $300,000 that's been found that could be used for roads later in the year. The mayor wants that list from council members by the end of the week. Engineers will then make a decision on which roads to fix, and that project could begin starting in May.
Some neighborhood streets are getting repaved and the work is moving along. But 13 ABC's Bill Hormann says even on streets with new asphalt, there's a bumpy ride. He joins us now live from the Franklin Park Mall.
The residents don't really want to complain. After all, they're glad that something was done on their streets after waiting for years for road work to begin. But once they looked at the work, they realized it didn't seem complete. This is Guildhouse Street, just off Talmadge. Road crews were here a couple months ago. Residents were happy at first, then disappointed with the finished product.
I'm glad they did what they did, but they just didn't do enough.
The residents on this street are a little frustrated. They see where the crews did some work, then they left about 20 feet, and then they picked up the work again. Road repair sometimes ends right where there are big potholes just a few feet away. Why would they leave some spots and cover others?
Yeah, I thought they could have done better. Really, the whole street needed to be done.
The city blames the problem on a lack of money. This mill and fill wasn't even in the budget until Councilman Tom Winooski found $700,000 to do the work. That was enough for 1,100 tons of asphalt for each district, or about 10 streets worth. But the holes left behind will get filled.
We're going to go back and pothole patch those with basically our hot boxes and our smaller crews.
So don't expect the streets to be repaired curb to curb. Crews have to conserve as much asphalt as possible. But residents who waited years are just glad the crews are doing something. So is this one of those situations where, you know, better little than none?
Absolutely. This is going to be a big improvement for us.
The mill and fill campaign's about 75% complete. There are 8 streets left to do. They're all in District 3, and they should be completed by the end of the month. Reporting live, Bill Hormann, 13 ABC Action News.